All right, let's dive right in. In this explainer, we're going to break down a really fundamental part of the PC Guard software copy protection system. I'm talking about the plain protection method. We'll take a look at how this core piece works and, more importantly, how you can layer it to build some really flexible licensing models for your own applications.
So, here's what we've got on tap. We'll start with what is plain protection. Then we'll look at its core security components, jump into some basic and then advanced licensing scenarios. After that, we'll cover some really important implementation notes and wrap it all up with a quick summary. Let's get started.
Okay, first up, what exactly is plain protection? Well, think of it as the foundational layer of security, the real bedrock of the whole system. So, at its heart, the plain protection method is your first line of defense. Its main job, really, is to shield your app from all those nasty things like reverse engineering, patching, and code analysis. But here's the most important thing to remember about plain on its own. An application that's only protected with this method can be run on pretty much any computer, no strings attached.
All right, let's peel back the layers and see what's going on under the hood. You see, this protection isn't just a single switch you flip. It's actually a multi-layered approach that builds this really robust security envelope around your application.
So, this security envelope is built in 3 key stages. First, the system literally wraps your application up. Then, the application's code gets encrypted, which basically scrambles it and makes it unreadable. And finally, it embeds some clever anti-debugging and anti-decompilation code to stop anyone from trying to poke around and analyze it. It's this 3-part combo that really gives you that strong, foundational security.
Okay, this is where things get really interesting and, frankly, super powerful for you as a developer. Plain protection by itself is solid, but its real magic, its true flexibility, happens when you start mixing and matching it with other features, like demo modes and serial numbers. Let's check out a couple of basic scenarios.
So, let's compare. On one hand, you've got your basic plain protection. Simple, right? The app just works, anywhere, for anyone, no limits. But on the other hand, just by adding the demo feature, you instantly transform it into a trial version. Now your application will only work for a set amount of time, and then, poof, it expires.
Okay, what if we swap out that demo for serial numbers instead? Well, in this scenario, your application is locked down right from the get-go. The first time a user runs it, they're going to be asked for a serial number, and the app won't budge. It just won't run until a valid serial is typed in. But as soon as it's validated, boom, the application is fully unlocked and runs without any other restrictions.
Now that we've got the basics down, we can start layering these pieces together. This is how you can build some really sophisticated user experiences and licensing models that perfectly match what your business needs.
So here we have the classic try before you buy setup. Your application just works in demo mode right out of the box for a limited time. The cool part is the user can pop in a serial number whenever they want, during the trial or even after it's expired. Once they do that and it's validated, they get the full unrestricted version. It's a super common and really effective way to do things.
Now, there's a really interesting little tweak you can make here. It's a special case, but it's powerful. If you enable the display limitation counter option, the behavior totally changes. The activation dialog will actually pop up on every single run of the demo. It's a constant, gentle nudge for the user to upgrade. It might seem small, but it's a pretty significant choice when you're designing the user experience.
And for our final scenario, we've got the most controlled setup of all. Check this out. In this case, a user can't even start the demo without having a valid serial number first. This is absolutely perfect for things like a controlled beta test, or maybe a special promotion where you hand out serials that unlock a time-limited trial. And once that demo period is over, the application just stops working. Full control.
Okay, let's shift gears and talk about some really crucial implementation details. These are the things you absolutely positively need to know when you're working with these protection methods.
Now, this next point is incredibly important, so listen up. There is no machine locking in the plain protection method. Let me say that again. A valid serial number is not tied to a specific computer. It'll work on any machine. This is absolutely fundamental to understand because it dictates how you manage your licenses. If you do need to lock a license to a specific PC, you'll have to use one of the other methods in PC Guard, something like remote protection.
Let's talk a bit more about how those serial numbers are handled. So once a user enters a valid serial, it gets stored right there on their computer, and from that point on, they can't change it. It's locked in. But for you, the developer, you've got a lot more power.
You can actually read that serial number's value using the protection interface, which is super useful if you want to enable specific features based on the serial. And you can even go a step further and programmatically set the serial number from inside your app using the Set Serial Number function. This is great for creating custom activation flows.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground. Let's wrap things up and take a look at all these scenarios at a glance. It'll make for a nice, quick recap.
As you can see from this table, it's all about progressive control. You start with the basic plain method, which is completely unrestricted. Then you can add a demo to make it time-limited. Or you can require a serial number right away. And of course, you can combine them for a demo that then requires a serial. Each step up this ladder gives you a tighter grip on how your software is distributed and used.
And that pretty much covers the plain protection method. We've seen how it's the foundation and how you can build on top of it. So, the real question I want to leave you with is this. Looking at your own application, how are you going to layer these protection methods to create the perfect licensing model for your customers? Something to think about. Thanks so much for tuning in.